Aquarius, this is your May 24 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find that some of these messages resonate for you. It's Romy. I appreciate you joining me on the channel. We are going to open up this month with the energy of the Nine of Pentacles. Nothing is a coincidence this month, Aquarius. You need to open your mind to all of the ways that things are unfolding in perfect synchronicity. It's a very grounded and leveled energy, which will bring, I think, a little bit of a welcome relief after some of the flux and intensity of the last few weeks. It definitely affords you an opportunity to bring a little bit more temperance through to situations. You have to get very clear on what it is that you want to prioritize and hold your position quite strongly with things in the first part of the month. Now, Pluto stations retrograde in your sign from the 2nd, and so over the next few months, we're doing a deeper dive into your reflections around power and control, some of the themes that are coming up to be a very clear, transformative experience. And I think you got that indication, especially through that eclipse energy in April, which will still be playing out, and that arc of influence having a powerful effect really on some of the choices and decisions that you're making. And very much, May is about our emotional response to kind of what went down the last few weeks. What did it show you about yourself? And you're showing me with the Nine of Pentacles that there's a kind of stoicism that's coming through and a determination to continue to forge the path towards the things that you want. You also need to just stop for a moment, stop and smell the roses, as Taurus energy would want us to, and actually really give yourself credit for where you are now in relation to, where you had to come up against some perhaps what felt like insurmountable challenges. And I think there is something quite refreshing about this first part of May. And as you come toward that new moon in Taurus, there's definitely a feeling of accomplishment that wants to be acknowledged by you. And that in and of itself will bring about some new confidence, especially where you need it to engage and allow something to move forward that feels like it's an integral part of your day-to-day experience, whether that is a relationship or just something that you're matched or married to or invested, devoting your time, energy and attention. We've got a little bit more harmony coming through to work with. Now, the energy is still intense overall, and so we are feeling a little bit more of a reprieve, I think, in the month of May, when I look at the entirety of the year ahead. And I think let's take advantage of that. So as you see those kind of break points where the light is streaming in and you just feel like you can get a little bit more clarity, feel a little bit more like yourself, and also be acutely aware from a kind of psychic, intuitive perspective how much more you are able to read the room and discern, your own gifts coming into the forefront and a point of awareness, and perhaps in surprising ways realizing how strong your telepathic tendencies are right now as you just are able to know what people are thinking or what they're about to say. And that's something that's going to continue to get stronger and stronger. Now, your intentions around that new moon are very deliberate, and I think you're also coming in with a new understanding that feels, as I said, a bit more grounded and leveled. So you might have a bit of a backtrack moment or a reconsideration in regards to something, and you're definitely highly aware of your emotional response and wanting it to be something that can help to maintain a degree of peace within you, or some sense of like managing to regulate. So you're not going to be doing anything like too crazy in and around that time. At the same token, I feel like some of the plans just got bigger, or the stakes got higher. But you're just taking a moment to kind of pause and gather your thoughts as you sort of lean into that, is what I'm being shown. Now, we've got Ceres, the asteroid goddess, shifting retrograde in Capricorn on the 14th. And this cycle, what she's teaching us, Aquarius, is how to survive. And I think that's an important one. And, in reflecting on the circumstances you're in. It's not about trying to recapture what was, it's about being really realistic about what is and saying, okay, how do I adapt? How do I thrive and survive with where things are right now? Understanding that even now things are very temporary and that there's going to be a lot of new energy incoming that needs to be worked on. And that Ace of Wands coming through is telling me like you're being shown very clearly where the gap or where the opportunity is, but there is that leap of faith that needs to happen, and the leaves are falling off here, so there is something that kind of needs to fall away in order for you to be able to follow through with that. I think you're starting to have very refreshing conversations with people this month, and they feel progressive and enlightened. And what you're also set to see is perhaps quite surprisingly, remarkably, growth in people that you hadn't anticipated, you know, where you sort of think, well, they'll never change. And I think, you know, you might start to see the shoots and the seeds of that taking place. Now, I feel that in some instances there's a requirement on your part to stand back and allow that process to continue, and very much be focused on what do I need to pay attention and prioritize right now. That Ace of Wands is being the spark. It's acting as a strong catalyst, and there is something really growth-filled here. Now, I also want to draw your attention to the fact that Pallas Athena is shifting retrograde in Scorpio on the 16th, and we get to have the really difficult conversations here because we're able to go to those areas that feel a little bit more taboo, that feel a little bit more difficult to bring up. Now, Three of Cups tells me this might be something going on particularly around friendships, or you know, people that are a part of that immediate social circle, that soul family vibe. And it may be that we need to clear the air. It may be that we need to address something that you've been aware of or you've seen playing out. And it's really important, you know, through this month to kind of show your position, offer your support, or be the one that kind of brings something to light. I think you'll do that, and you'll do it in a way that is, you know, demonstrating integrity and also sort of hitting the right note. You know, it's not kind of too invasive, but at the same time you're probing enough to try to get to the heart and bring the truth through. Okay, there's a lot more momentum and motivation coming through in the month of May, and I also look to see you wanting to collaborate and spend time and kind of exchange and share ideas with other people. And as I said, you're coming into contact with those that seem to be talking about things that, you know, you're resonating with more and more. And if you find that that's not the case, May also affords this very powerful withdrawal energy. And I think, you know, you'll see much more clearly than you have before the sources of what has been perhaps draining or, you know, causing a powerful response or emotional reaction within you, and wanting to do something to address it. It's really one of these months where it's like, okay, I need to see progress in this area. And what is that going to take? What is it I need to do to facilitate that? And then being kind of unafraid to sort of make the bigger change and cut something away or bring something in. And, you know, so a strong adjustment phase. And I think also asking yourself the questions, as we ought to be doing through Taurus season, is how sustainable is this? You know, so particularly where things feel quite tough. Or that, you know, you're still engaged in something that you know is not necessarily serving you particularly well. As you take stock of what that looks like, you know, you're ready to kind of draw a line a little bit. Now, I like the 7 coming through, and actually you've got some really strong manifesting energies, and Taurus season absolutely helping us to achieve that. But the 7 and the 9, you know, are telling me like something can bear fruit, something can come together here. And, you know, even if like the instant impact doesn't hit on like the bottom line like straight away, I think you get some strong evidence to suggest that you're doing the right thing, or the potential that something has, and just exactly when you might be able to see a return or something coming together. I also see for some of you, there's the opportunity to celebrate as a result of a new opportunity or offer that's come your way, you know, so especially as you're looking at how do I progress myself personally, professionally, like in areas of my life that feel like they're going to continue to sort of put me where I'm meant to be. Because like the word that's come, well, the phrase that's coming through is your class act. So it's like, okay, if I'm getting that through, then there's some situation that's arising that's helping you to feel that within yourself and offering you an opportunity to demonstrate and express it. Now, the 9, interestingly, can sometimes be quite a independent, at times solo act that is undertaken, and yet we've got the camaraderie, the community, the friendships. And so again, it's perhaps that fine tune, that balancing act that needs to take place through the course of May for you, Aquarius, as you figure out to what degree do I need to forge ahead on my own and kind of discover my way, do things on my terms. But also, where is it that I'm just needing that extra support, that sense of feeling like I'm part of something, and generating those kind of conversations that help you to not feel so alone, not to feel so kind of out there as if you're like pioneering on a path, but you turn around and you can't kind of feel into the energy that's being generated as a result of the work that you're doing. So you yourself will have to sort of answer those questions and make sure that you try to create that right balance for yourself. I think when you're coming together and looking at partnerships, relationships, we also have this interesting revelation that leads to a new discovery about what each of the other has been thinking, and perhaps where you've been at cross purposes, and where there's perhaps some regret at certain conversations or things that happened, and how that can start to be readdressed. Okay, so it also just feels like a good leveling time for that to happen. Now, we have a couple of nice dates coming through in May to also pay attention to. On the 18th, the Sun and Jupiter are affording a very growth-filled door to open. And High Priestess says, you know what to do with this. You know what's possible here. So trust in yourself. You're being guided very strongly, and you're receiving that impulse to act. But you will get the nudge that says, listen to how to approach this. As I said, there's like nothing is a coincidence, and it may be that you're privy to some information that's also going to be critical in helping you take that next step. And as the Sun shifts into Gemini, air energy, you work really beautifully with this coming into your 5th house. There's just this kind of desire to want to have more feel-good experiences. Well, don't we all, right? But there's something that you put in place that helps create some time for that to happen. And the full moon in Sagittarius, actually, with your 11th house, again, there's some really beautiful astrological alignments. I like this moon. I feel like it's very motivating. I feel like it helps you to use the time wisely. I think for you, you're looking at how to harness the network. You come together. There seems to be gatherings, or the desire to want to put something on that kind of brings in the people that you want to spend time with. And I think there's some honesty that surfaces around that, some new insights that will also be very pertinent to kind of the next steps that you're taking in your life. So guidance, counsel, insight from others that have maybe walked the path or have experience will also be really beautiful. And then, of course, we've got Jupiter changing sign into Gemini from the 25th, major shift astrologically happening. And, for you, this is going to be an interesting time of expansion, within that heart chakra space. Rich opportunity creatively speaking. And of course, when Jupiter's in Gemini, everything moves at lightning speed. Information is flooding into your consciousness, and there is a discernment that needs to happen as to figure out what's real, what's fake, what's something that I can align with and that feels like it resonates with me. But it's shape-shifting and it's moving so quickly that if you don't have some groundedness in your own kind of North Star, your own moral compass, like that splintering of information and the flow of it could feel quite disorientating and dizzying over the next few months. So your medicine here is to really choose to have the capacity to have harder conversations with yourself about what is realistic and what is your truth, and of course having like the open mind, but working creatively to ensure that like your pathway is coming in a way that helps you to find your own sense of integrity as we navigate what the changing circumstances are about. But something sort of uplifting and taking off is the sort of feeling toward the end of May, and that will continue over the next few months and moving very fast as I said, opening up very synchronistic events for you that feel like maybe you've been waiting some time and now everything all comes in all at once. Quite beautiful. So if you're new to the channel, Aquarius, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. You can find the link in the comment and description box underneath. We'll talk for another 30 minutes. We'll look at a relationship card and also a personal question for you. I hope you'll join me. I'm just going to clarify these cards and see the direction we'll take that extended reading in. Some of the insights that are going to be popping up for you. Now, please do check out my website, romywiser.com. You can find my sacred titles there, which is my oracle deck and my book. All my sacred soul support, the guided meditations that I create to help you on your journey. Also, ways to work with me. You'll also see all the decks that I use listed below. So please take a moment. You've got High Priestess coming through here again. Page of Swords, Queen of Coins. There is work to do this month, but I think you're kind of ready for that. There's just a sort of slightly re-energized feeling about May. Thank goodness. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. So this is my own deck. Please do take a moment to check it out. What do we have here? Queen of Earth again. Very resourceful this month, Aquarius. Rise in Love, Eclipse Revelations, Sacral Energy. There's always 2 paths for us to take, but if you really move into this month with the question of, what is my emotional response going to be to everything that's just landed at my door, then you're going to be on the pathway to your own growth. Let's have a look at a couple more oracles for the month of May for Aquarius. Cygnus, we've got compassion coming through here. And finally, Mountain, vision and inspiration. Beautiful. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you'll join me on the extended. I appreciate you and your investment and joining me on the channel. Take good care. I'll see you next time.